Dr. Laura just reached over to me and said, "I can't wait to hear your talk." Well, me too. I can't wait either. Whew. Well, my talk title, normally I wait till I'm halfway done with my talk to give you the title, but today I'm doing it a little differently. And my talk title is called That Was Then, This Is Now. So you're starting to see the threads come together. So in the 1980s, there was a movie that came out by this name, That Was Then, This Is Now, and it was based on a book. And it was a coming-of-age movie centered around a couple of, they weren't blood brothers, but they were two boys that were in their, they were probably 16 or 17, and the trials and tribulations of being a teenager with the hormones raging and just all the energy and the shifting of life. And so when I watched this movie when I was younger, I loved it. I thought it was the coolest movie I had seen. There were cute guys in it, and it was edgy, and it was kind of new and different for the time. And so I thought in preparation for my talk, I would watch it again just to see if there were any nuggets that I could bring into my talk. So I watched the movie this week, and when it was over, I said to myself, that was the worst movie I have ever seen in my life. I was appalled at my taste back then. I just thought, it was terrible. Okay, I'm just going to say it. I apologize if anybody still loves that movie. I do apologize, but for me, it was just wow. And then I heard this laughter coming from in myself as I was going into this judgment about the movie. I heard the laughing within saying, well, Dale, that was then, this is now. So clearly, my taste has changed. But it was a very interesting moment for me because in the movie when they first utter the line, that was then, this is now, it's when the two boys are in the car talking about how life used to be. So much easier when they were in elementary school and everybody had each other's back and everybody liked each other and there was more support. And now that they were in high school, it was a whole different ball game. There was rivalry, there was anger, there was so much fighting in this movie. It was just, Anyways, so they were kind of recollecting on how life was just a lot more peaceful and now it was very edgy and very rough. And they told each other, well, that was then, this is now, this is a whole new field of being. And this could be no truer for all of us, right? Life is continually changing, and we're always looking back and seeing and telling ourselves how life used to be so much better. And we can't help ourselves. We just can't help romanticizing the past, can we? I'm right there with you, by the way. And everything I'm saying today, I need to hear it because I have a relationship with the past, as we all do. And there is a tendency to be able to say, it was so much better then, it was so much easier then. I hear from people, they had so much more friends there, now they don't. And there's just a lot of loss and grief that we have a tendency to feel in the present moment because we're thinking the past was better. And I don't think that's true at all. I think it's time to put the past in its place. That's what it's all about. Put it in its proper place. Yeah, because I'm not saying that we need to stop looking at the past or honoring the past or revering the past. We just have to stop living there. We have to stop thinking things were so much better in the past than they are in the present moment. I know a lot of people that are going through some pretty heavy-duty grief right now, and it's hard to be in the present moment and see the present as a place of optimism and happiness and joy. And I know for myself, there have been many, many times in my life where I've felt that way. And I don't tell myself I need to stop feeling like that. I tell myself, honor what's coming up. Feel the grief, feel the sadness, feel the sorrow. But as Dr. Tom said, and Reverend Dr. Joe said, don't build a condo there. Know it's something that you are passing through. I love that, passing through. That's another talk for another day. But life, we are always passing through, and we are always in constant change and transition because that's how we are wired. And for me, I have to remind myself it's a good thing because I know I would be horribly bored if I was still 25 years old and thinking that was then, this is now is a great movie. It's just part of how we are. So it's time to put the past in its proper place. And I was thinking, Reverend William has inspired me to get more into analogies. And so one came to mind, I thank you, my friend. One came to mind as I was thinking about my talk, and it's the art gallery. You know, our lives are like this great art gallery where we have all these beautiful portraits of different times in our lives, times that were really meaningful and really wonderful, that were heartfelt, that were joyful, that were one of a kind, people in our lives that maybe we'll never have another relationship like that again. But we put it on the wall of our art gallery and honor it. But what we don't do is think that that gallery is all there is. Because we can put up, here we go, Reverend William, there's a fresh canvas for us to paint a new picture with new relationships, new experiences that aren't going to be the same as the old one, but my God, they could be even better. Why not? Why not? And so it's this relationship with the past that is ours to put in its proper place so that the past does not get in the way of creating something wonderful in the present moment. Creative energy always rises up to meet us. As we're going through our transitions and our changes, as we're letting go of things that might have been precious for us, there's this opening of space when we've done some healing. And what I know about creativity is in that space, the creative energy of spirit comes up to meet us because the universe abhors a vacuum. It abhors a vacuum. That is not natural to live in emptiness, even though I know. For me, I thought it was. There was a point in my life where emptiness was my friend. And then I realized I'm just making that up. It's not true. Because what is true is nature does not like a vacuum. Nature likes to fill things up. And so as we're walking through our life experiences and there's a gap, that creative juice, that flowing energy of spirit that is filled with possibility, that is filled with insight, imagination, new ways of being and seeing, it opens up and beckons us to come in and see what's there for us to live into as the next step in life. Ralph Waldo Emerson said this, "But it is impossible that the creative power should exclude itself. Into every intelligence there is a door which is never closed, through which the Creator passes." This quote to me just reminds all of us and myself that creativity isn't just for certain people. We all are that doorway for creative energy, for spirit to come in. It's not exclusive, it's inclusive. And I can speak for myself. I've told you many times that I never thought myself as creative, ever. I thought I wasn't. I really believed that. And then I learned in this beautiful philosophy that we teach that we're all creative, and we just use that energy differently. And you know what? Sometimes we misuse that creative energy. When we make an assumption about somebody, we're using our creative energy. Somebody made an assumption about me this week, and it's okay. That happens. They thought that they were sending me emails with ideas that they had, and they weren't getting a response from me, and they assumed that I'm not a nice person, and that I had something against them, and all this story, and that was them using their creative energy. And then it came to pass that somebody said, no, she hasn't been getting your emails. And so she was caught in her assumption, and I forgave her. I know, I've done it too. But we use our creative energy in many, many ways that we don't even realize. And so if we can start to understand what we're creating, whether it's an assumption, whether it's a new dream, whether it's something that we didn't think was possible that we could do in our life, a solution, that is creative potential that's right there for us. So Eckhart Tolle, I have a few quotes. He's my quoter of the day. Usually there's somebody I lean into more than other authors, and he's this week's, he's my chosen one. He said, "True creativity flows only from stillness. When stillness becomes conscious, the spiritual dimension enters your life, and you begin to be guided by an intelligence far greater than the human mind." And we teach a lot about stillness. We teach that stillness is really important for us to sit into. Reverend David is giving all of you an experience of stillness at 9 a.m. here on Sundays. Because stillness quiets the mind. Because that mind is really chattery and it's really distracting. And if it's really chattery and really distracting, do you think that creative energy is going to be able to make its way up? It's not. And so Eckhart teaches us to be still, just chill out. Let the mind just calm itself down. However you get there, by the way, you don't have to do it in meditation. You can do it simply by being in nature, taking a beautiful walk, just doing something where your mind isn't engaged in thinking. And I know that's a tall order because we're just thinking nonstop, right? But if we can just take it down a notch and get into an energy where there aren't words, where there aren't concepts, there's just being in the moment. And that's what Eckhart Tolle is telling us. And so when we become still, when we just allow that dropping into a place of ease and grace and timelessness and spacelessness, we're entering in that spiritual open zone. Because we're always in the spiritual dimension, I will tell you that. We're always in a spiritual dimension. We're never not there. But our mind isn't there. And so when we can go into the stillness and allow our mind to get into that spiritual dimension, there's unlimited possibilities that are now given a space to rise up into our awareness. And so we just need to know there's a greater intelligence that we are, that isn't mental. It is not the mind. So he tells us this: creativity arises out of the state of thoughtless presence. Thoughtless, that's your key word. Thoughtless. How many of you understand what it means to be thoughtless? And you're going, wait a minute, I'm very mindful of people. No, I mean thoughtless, like without something on your head telling you what to do or thinking about what's next or trying to figure out life, or that's what I mean by thoughtless, without that chatter. How many of you know what that is? You can be honest, great. So all of the rest of you, you got work to do. It's okay to be thoughtless in a different way than we're normally thinking of thoughtless. Not thoughtless and inconsiderate, but thoughtless without the chatter. What he's telling us here is that the thoughtless allows us to be more aware of what we are, more awake, because thinking does envelop us, and it takes us hostage, and we identify with it, right? We think, I am my thoughts, I am these beliefs, I am all of that. No, we are so much more than that. Thinking and believing, it's good for this dimension. We need it here. But we also need to not be in it 24/7 and to give ourselves a break, to be in the thoughtless space, to not be engrossed in thinking, to let that creative, bubbling energy come to us because it is so wonderful and fulfilling. So, just a little story here. Whenever we do our talks, we do a lot of we're doing a lot of talks here, and it is said that you're only as good as your last talk or your last song or your last performance. And so whenever I do a talk and I have another one coming up, I'm going to just be really transparent, because some people say, God, you just do it so easy and effortlessly. But I'm going to tell you, when my next talk is coming up, I go to this place of complete insecurity and complete, I'm not enough. I do. I'm going to be honest with you. And I say, what am I possibly going to talk about next? What am I possibly going to do? And it's really a moment to not let this get in the way, because what we all bring to the table here is something that comes from spirit. And so we have to go to this place that Eckhart Tolle is telling us about, to go away from the thought and let the heart talk. Be in the stillness. Allow what's coming in to come in. And I don't like doing that sometimes, because it's like, I want just my whole talk to appear to me and it's done. But that's not the creative process. The creative process to me is all of a sudden something drops in my heart and I say, there it is, because I can recognize that. At least I got that down, because something inside of me vibrates and says, you found it. Now let go. And it's like, now let go. What? Okay, I'm letting go. It's quite a process. And so then I just let the ideas kind of fall in. But I'll tell you, the less thinking I do, the better. And I'll tell you, the best ideas I get are driving in my car. When I'm in my car, an idea will drop in because my brain is it's so involved in what I'm doing in the car and driving that it opens up something creative that allows an idea to come in because I'm not searching for it. It just drops right in. And so I have a pad of paper when I drive and my pen. And yes, sometimes I'm like driving and writing. Okay, I confess. But that's how this creative thing works. And that's where this whole straddling of being okay with not quite knowing what the whole form is and just letting each piece come in. I'm sure there's lots of you who are artists and writers and painters that can relate with what I'm saying, right? It's about not knowing what the final thing is going to look like and just let the pieces come together. And you know what? This is what our lives are like too. We don't know how our whole life is going to turn out. These pieces just come together. And it's about letting go of needing to know it all and be certain of what it all is, because it's organic. It's unfolding one step at a time. When I was in my this is now stage, in my middle 20s, I went to, and no discredit to my beloved psychics that I absolutely love in my mediums, but I saw psychics all the time because I was so insecure about my future, and I wanted somebody to tell me, what is it going to look like? And so I call, and there was just all this information. And what's really interesting, at the end of the day, when I look back on that, even though I got all these pieces of information, I came to a point where I said, you know what, it's not making me feel good, because I don't even know if they're certain. And so I had to come to a place with being really okay with life and just being in the present moment and letting this creativity, this life come up to meet me and just meet it from the heart. Meet it from a place where I just make one good decision at a time and be excited about not knowing. Because now I'm really excited because I don't know, and I'm good with that because I have finally dropped into a place where the mystery is delicious. It is delicious. And so that's where I've come with that. And I don't look at the past to give me the information about what needs to be in the future, because I'm a different person now, as we all are. And that's the thing about this evolution of being, is we are not the same people. So the past cannot be in the present anymore because it doesn't fit us anymore. You know, like I was saying, if I was still in the same consciousness of 25, you know, I could still do the same things I did there. And we all know people that are still in the consciousness of 25 or 30, and they're still living in that same energy and that same belief system. But we're evolutionary beings, and you in this room, you online, if you're watching this, you're an evolutionary being, and you embrace it, and you want more, you want bigger, you see yourself expanding. And so that's the importance of letting go of the past and the information and needing to relive and thinking that needs to be replayed here, letting go of that and being excited about what's next and what's possible. So here's what Eckhart has to say about that, the future. The power for creating a better future is contained in the present moment. You create a good future by creating a good present. And this is meaningful for me because as I have come up in science of mind, when I was first taught and first kind of in it and learning how to utilize it, I was really involved in needing to vision my next step, bringing in what it is I want to see, what I want it to be like, what I want it to look like, the vision boards, all that stuff. And I think that's great stuff. But I found that there's a secret that's beneath all of that. And the secret is it's all about feeling. It's all about feeling. What do I want to feel in my future? I want to feel love. I want to feel goodness. I want to feel that I'm always provided for. I never have to worry about a thing because everything is just always there. That's what I want to feel. That's what I want to be. And so being that energy in this moment means that the future takes care of itself. And it also means it's even bigger than what I could dream of. And so I am all about feeling what I want to feel because the stuff, the form of it all just naturally comes in, and that's really, really exciting. It's kind of like the thing not going up today. You know, we all love it when that screen rises up and we see the valley. But it's not the screen, right? It's our source energy. It's the vibration that dwells within. That screen just activates it. It just makes it more real to us. But it's coming from here. And that's what life's about. Let's have it come from here. And the rest takes care of itself. And that's what Eckhart is telling us. You want a good future, everybody? Be in the now and see the preciousness of life. Find what you're grateful for. And I know sometimes it's hard to find that because life can have some rough edges to it. But there's always one thing, at least one thing, to be grateful for. Whether it's to be grateful that you live in a peaceful country, whether it's to be grateful that your electricity is working. We've had a little challenge with that, but that's okay. We still got it on. But anything, the littlest thing of gratitude is going to grow and expand for you. So that's what brings the goodness of the moment, which leads to the goodness of tomorrow. So this is my last slide. These are the days. These are the days. We talked about the Rosh Hashanah service that we had and dinner, which was really magical and wonderful. And someone said something to me, Bernie said something to me that resonated with me because I thought of the same thing. So when I was a little girl, I loved the holidays because I had the grandma, the archetypal grandma, right? She never sat down for dinner because she was busy serving everybody. She was just such an amazing being. I know I talk about her a lot. There's no one like her. There really wasn't. Salt of the earth. And that was a special time, those family times, to have the family together, the mishpacha, just everybody connecting and letting go and enjoying and celebrating the holiday. And as I've become an adult and the family has all passed on, people have told me I should go to a country club, like for Passover. Someone said, oh, they have a great meal at a country club. And I always said, there's no way, because my family's not going to be there, and I can't handle the feelings that would come up, because to me, the Jewish holidays are about that family coming together. But when we came together on Friday night, and I saw this room filled with so much love and so much respect for each other, and it wasn't just Jewish people, there were people of different backgrounds here, just gathered together to be in a sacred moment, to feel love, to feel the power of spirit in all of us, and just to be kind to each other and celebrate the new year. When I saw that, I had a huge epiphany. I realized that this thing that we do in spiritual connection and spiritual community is beyond what we experienced in the past in our family units. And I never thought I'd say that. I never thought I would be able to see the sanctity of my family has now come alive for me here in this moment, in this room with you all. And it did. It came to life. It's big. It's big. And Bernie had the same experience, because he said it's been 20-some years that he felt that family bond, but he felt it on Friday night. So this told me about the gallery that I have, and that I had put a fresh canvas on. And I was now painting a new family, because I haven't had a family for a long time. And I have a fabulous family here. I have a family who really loves me. And the cool thing is, I'm now accepting it. Because you got to accept it. You got to be open to it. And I am so grateful to see you all open to it as well, because we are building something wonderful here. And we're letting Spirit guide us. It's not about the mind. It's about the heart. We can follow the heart because it directs us so beautifully. It tells us the past, as wonderful as it is, as wonderful it is that the people who blessed us, we honor that, we cherish it. And so we say thank you, but there's so much more. There's more people, there's more family, there's more love. There is a creative spirit that's coming through all of us to create something even better than yesterday. Thank you for listening to me. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you.